Lindsay, Heather, Fran, all you hoes is mid. Heard a fake rumor about me and got something on the kid. That don't change the fact that there's just no flavor in your wrist. That was given from the start, so it just is what it is. Now drop the pin. Well, when I step to the plate, everybody knows that I electrify. Every time I just pray and never fall, even when the bullets stick when I sanctify. Every girl is out of my league, so these days, man, I just watch Geminis. They thought they had us down bad, now we going 25, 20.
I'm Not Cappin Podcast. We got Corey. We got Rozay. We got 3 letters, 1 word, D. But he's still D Majors in the house. What up? What's going on tonight, man?
What's happening,
man?
What's going on? What's going on?
D, I know this ain't the topics for the week, but I see the Alabama channel. You expecting the Tide to roll tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
It's back to rolling Tide.
Time to shut it down. Time
he shut it down.
for our coach to put his pants on and let's get ready to roll up in Athens and get the job done. Stop that long home winning streak they got going.
That was out of pocket already. But we're going to start off with a good topic, man. Rozay, I'm going to let you start it off. Is our expectations for new quarterbacks entering the league and in college football, are they too high? Or do you think we're just in the period of they just not the Andrew Luck, they're not having the RG3, or do you think it's coaching? Do you think it's the player? Like, what's your take on it, man?
I don't really think it's the coaching. I don't think it's the player. I mean, well, I guess you can say it's kind of 50-50 because I don't think it's much. I don't think the coaching is like it was when Andrew Luck, RG3, or Cam Newton, all them people played. So I don't think the coaching is the same. But then I also can put half of it on the player because of all the money they get. Now, the money probably could be a problem, could be an issue, could be probably why they're not playing up to their standards because their head's getting a little bit too big. I got a few examples in the back of my head, but I don't want to start nothing today. I don't want to start nothing tonight with you young brothers, okay? But we're just going to keep it pushing on that. Arch Manning. But anyway. But nah, I don't think the expectations are too high. I just think it's got to do with the NIL stuff. I think that's just what it is. People be putting these values on these players, and we're expecting them to come out here and play top tier game one. Me myself, I fault myself for that. To be honest with
They
you,
do what they say. Pay players. Me and you were saying you need to be a cap. Nah,
I mean they on the pay plan. They on the pay plan. They on the commission pay plan, man. They get paid every month. They get paid this big amount every month, but they get paid regardless if they play well or if they play bad. So I mean, I think that's the issue too as well. But then again, like I said earlier, you can put it on the coaching too. The coach is not the same as it was back then. So it's partly player, partly coaching.
Corey?
I think if we're talking about expectations, I think to first go to college, I think it is how to do with the NIL deals, but that's something they've been, calling a spade. That's something they've been doing for a minute. They've been paying college players since the early 2000s. This is under the table. Now it's legal, but I think as like these players
$35,000 ain't nothing compared to nowadays.
That's true. I would say I think now that people are winning, that the essentially the all the talent is so spread out nowadays. Like used to be like, they're going to Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Tennessee, whatever the case may be. I think now it's the earnest of they have to win now. If they don't win now, then it's like the program's a failure or they're failing to meet expectations. So they got to move on to another coach, whatever the case may be. For the NFL, I think it's the same thing. All these players are coming in, and if you don't make your mark, year one, year two, then you're getting benched, like we saw with Anthony Richardson, like we see with some other quarterbacks, some other players. So I think they need to go to where they kind of give the kids some time to find themselves, especially the NFL. I feel like year 2, year 3, and you don't really have a good footing, then yeah, you're probably washed out, no matter how good you were in college. But um, yeah, that's just my feelings on it. And with Arch Manning, to speak on what Rose said with Arch Manning, that Manning name carries a lot of weight. I mean, it's football's first family. So Peyton Manning's my favorite quarterback, but I would say give them some time. I think they're going to make it to the SEC championship. They have a pretty easy path to it. They're going to face Alabama or Georgia, so we'll see.
Mr. Majors, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. I think I'm gonna have to put the blame on the players because this is what they wanted. They want to get paid. They put the expectations on themselves. So go out there and show me. And when you fail, you got nobody to blame but yourself. Like I feel like in this generation, like what happened to the days where we just shut the hell up and just play? Don't put no expectations. Just let my game speak for itself. However I build up my resume and however I perform on the field, that's gonna be the judge of how I get paid. Like, okay, for example, look at the Nico situation. Had it all made at Tennessee, had it made. Gonna sit there and complain the coaching not good enough, the talent ain't good enough. Now look at him over there at UCLA struggling. Because why?
No, he ain't
That
never.
greed
Hold
is a
on, man.
motherfucker. Excuse my language,
He
but
ain't
that
never
greed is
say.
crazy.
He ain't never say the talent wasn't good enough. He just left because of the coach.
No, he said that after. He said, I'm not surrounded by the right talent I need to succeed.
Or did his daddy say that? That's the difference.
Hey, he a part of it. So that's when
Nah,
you
if
step.
my dad, if my daddy say something that I don't agree with, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
But I'm
That's his
saying that's
opinion.
when you step in as a man and say, hey, Pops, move out the way. This is what I want to do with my career. I got this.
And he got his money, right?
And look what he's
Some
doing with it.
people prioritize money over winning. That's also a problem, but you can't fault
I
them for that.
agree. But
Yes, they
honestly,
0-3, but
yeah. But
But
honestly, I
you,
disagree. Like players like Arch, let's just be real. It's the last name. Nobody cares. It's just the last name that why his stock is so high. And then another player, I'm gonna speak on it, DJ Lagaway. I mean, Sheem, you said it this whole time. He's not good. He's not good. He's not good. Like he looks like a statue out there. He looks like he about to piss on himself every time the ball gets hyped.
let
And
so let me ask you.
let me
Hold on, D.
hold
Let
on,
me
Zach, hold on, Zach,
go
hold
ahead.
on.
Go ahead, boy.
Let me ask you this because I'm just using this as an example. We've seen a resurgence of Sam Darnold, right? So
yeah,
Sam Darnold the first few years, I know it's a small sample size with college, but Sam Darnold the first few years, you're like, oh, he's bad, he's terrible, he should be out of the league, he a backup, yada yada. Last year, balls out for the Vikings. This year is doing pretty well for the Seahawks. So when you translate to college, do you think that somebody who is bad their first freshman year, even sophomore year, can find a resurgence towards the end of their collegiate career?
If I can jump in here real
go
quick,
ahead.
this is just something. I mean, Rose can tell you too. Being a former athlete is you're fit. You can play somewhere and look terrible, but if the system is right and everything else matches up, it will show how good you can be. And the resurgence, I mean, we've seen it with Baker. I mean, we've seen Geno, we've seen Sam Darnold, is because they're actually at the right fit. A lot of these teams, yes, they pick these players, but the fit don't be there. If we're being honest, um, Andrew Luck, RG3, and Cam, all three of them should still be in the league today. But they were generational, and this is another argument I don't have it for another day. A generational talent versus a very good player versus a good player versus an average player. And we got so used to the generational where they were so much better than everyone else that they can keep up flow. And it's so tricky because that tier from very good and generational is a huge gap, but the media will make it so small that we just expect them to. Cam Newton's going to be great anywhere they put him. Let's be honest. The Carolina Panthers really didn't do much for Cam. Cam was just that good. Andrew Luck. Did the Colts do much for Andrew Luck? No, he was just Andrew Luck. RG3, we know how RG3 the 1 year and then they messed him up with the injury, but RG3 was going to be great wherever he was at. And the expectations got so up here, but it's no disrespect. But if you're a generational talent, that's your God-given ability. Some people are just very good. And then you just got regular good people. And like the whole thing with Arch and Lagway and even the kid for Clemson, we didn't mention. I
Clubman.
think we look at talent and like, okay, we identify this, we identify the body, there's the mental, and we identify even with Arch case the last name. But sometimes there's a huge. I'm a Giants fan, but there's a huge drop off from Peyton and Eli. Peyton's a generational. Eli went from good to very good, fluctuate, but he was never generational talent. Arch may not be. He may just end up being a good quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to Rose's point with the media is we're hyping him up, but let's be honest. Eli was just very good to good. Payton was the generational guy, but the football family, yeah, that's true. They both of them will probably be in the Hall of Fame, which is that's a they'd be like Shannon and them, the only two brothers. But let's just be honest, a spade is spade. Lagway, you know how we've been talking about this, D. I feel like they didn't set him up for success. And another thing is, I don't like, you know what they're gonna do here. I don't think he's playing this weekend, right? Is he playing this weekend?
No.
I don't think he's playing this weekend. They're gonna redshirt him again. I know what they're gonna pull. And sometimes I wish the rules weren't that way, because now you're tricking the system. Because now Corey, he year 4 or 5, he's supposed to be that dog. He doesn't play. All these people ain't his peers, and this is the system that we're tricking. He needed, hey man, you had a bad year.
Because I have a good example. Joe Burrow. First 3 years, nobody was talking about Joe Burrow. And to your point, he gets to LSU, gets to the right system. Coach Ogeron balls out his senior year, goes. I don't know if he was the first overall draft pick that year. He was okay. So gets the Bengals. They find their quarterback. If it wasn't for his injuries, Joe Shiesty is a pretty good quarterback. Not generational talent, not Lamar Jackson-esque, but I would say Joe Burrow reminds me of let's say like a David Garrard of the Jaguars back in the late 2000s. Like he's good, but you still have to compete with Peyton Manning in the same.
I would say you could say Phillip Rivers. I think is a more
Phillip Rivers.
David.
Ain't gonna lie, David Garrard was pretty good, but he has injuries.
I know what you were saying. Yeah,
so that's why I was like, Phil Rivers is always on a pretty good consistent team, and was never really injured like that. But I just think for like Arch Manning, I feel like he could have the same trajectory. Lagway too, possibly, where they have their first couple years are okay, and then towards the end of their careers or end of their coach careers, go off. But I could be wrong though.
I'm gonna say this about Lagway since we on this topic. If he don't get right this game or the next game, they have a freshman on the bench that's 10 times better than him. I promise you, they're gonna make that man transfer.
He's playing, Rose. I think the freshman they're gonna
that's what I'm saying. So there you go. That answers my question. So if the freshman is playing, DJ Lagway is not coming back to Florida because the freshman they already said that's his replacement when he leaves anyway. He's better than DJ Lagway. So if he plays well in this game, and then if he starts the next game, he plays well. DJ Lagway is done in Florida. He's gonna go transfer. That's how the story always ends up being with these quarterbacks. When it's two good quarterbacks on the team, and it's supposed to be a star quarterback, 5-star, yada yada yada, playing this, making all this money, playing well and everything. But he's playing bad to start the season. They bring in the backup, and he's beating them out, and he's winning them games or whatever. The star quarterback is gonna transfer, and we're just gonna keep talking about DJ Lagway. What if this? What if that? He's gonna turn into another Anthony Richardson. And I just want y'all to tell me that I'm right again. But I'm gonna wait on it though. I'm gonna give it some time.
And that's it. And I would say, Rose, that is, and I know I'm talking about my team a little bit, and they're not no Power 5 school, but with Colorado, that's the thing that you saw the first few weeks with they're doing all these quarterback changes, it's very if you have Caden Salter and Julian Lewis, yeah, they're like I said, Sheem, you a 5-star quarterback or you a transfer from Liberty who did all this amazing stuff, whatever, right? The expectation is you are supposed to perform well, right? Now you have a third stringer like Ryan Staub, who's backed up Shador for 2 years, didn't really see a lot of playing time. He has nothing to lose. He's going to put in the work. He's going whatever. And he balled out for a half, and then he came back down to earth. But like to Rose's point, there are people on the bench, vying for a shot. Hey, just give me a chance. I promise you, I'm gonna,
Mind
get
you,
us to the right point. Give me a
mind
chance. I
you.
promise you, and they're not really worried about the money. They're gonna get the accolades, the shine towards, later on the next year, or whatever. But I feel like they have an edge over like, the 5 stars because they have more hunger. They're not just given the keys. They have to earn them. So
D, I'm gonna to go into the next topic here. I'm gonna put a little spin to it because you already mentioned DJ and Arch, and then I'll put Cade in there with they were some of the initial Heisman favorites here. Let me ask you this because no one has said this, even in the media I've been checking out. Is it fair to say this has been the disappointing season already in terms of the top dogs? Like, I think the struggle amongst the initial Heisman favorites is no coincidence, but their teams also aren't living up to the hype. If we call a spade the spade, Ryan Williams had a backup. He had a bounce back game, but he hasn't been consistently dominant. I'm a Buckeye fan. I love Jeremiah, but there's still stuff on this game I would still like to, but numbers wise, it's there. But do you think this is just the landscape of college football? Are we in kind of a down year with the top teams, or what's your mindset on that? What you thinking?
I think we don't need to jump the boat too soon. I don't think we've gotten like to the actual part of the season. I think the actual season starts tomorrow. Like when you get into like the big games, with Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, and then y'all go on the road to Washington. And when y'all start playing Penn State and the season keeps going, I think we're gonna officially know. I say by week 8, week 9. But so far it's been looking pretty bad. And I think the schedule was also a big factor too, because you don't really get to see who is the best. Because even you go down the list, like after Texas, like Ohio State hasn't played anybody, Penn State hasn't played nobody. Yeah, Miami's beaten Notre Dame, but they haven't gotten to like the deep part of their schedule yet. And then you got, of course, Georgia beat Tennessee, but Tennessee, they're them. But we'll see how the season progresses. How the players will adjust, to the actual game. If they're going to get better or not.
Let me ask you this before we rotate over to Corey: are you shocked that we haven't seen a main dominant force on to me at any like normally around this time period someone's done taken has all the buzz. Are you shocked by that, or you think this is just because even these games, if me and you talk on the phone where the scoring seems like it's done reset to a bit. I'm curious to see how your game. I'm not expecting a high scoring game. It seems like the scoring's kind of reduced. I know it's still early on the season, but are you expecting by this week that we're going to identify those top stars, or do you think it's still going to be later on during the year?
I think it starts definitely this week because, for example, like Grant Nussmeyer with LSU, he going on the road to Ole Miss. I think that's a big game for him. Then you got, of course, Bama and Georgia. You're gonna see if Ryan Williams can actually come out and play like he did, similar how he played last year. But I think the difference maker in that game is gonna be Georgia's already gonna know what the game plan is. They think in their mind we're gonna target him a lot, and I expect him to have a quiet game. And I think Bernard is going to be like the key person, like he's been all year, to get open. And I think, switching over to Clemson, I think their season's already been done for. I don't think they're going to bounce back from that, especially being down 1-3. And then you got another Heisman candidate. I would say I'm interested to see how Tennessee's quarterback does. Despite how bad their team is, their quarterback's actually good. So I think I got to put him in that conversation as being
Bro,
as
that is
rising
not a
star
bad
since
team,
he
bro.
came in.
That's your third time saying that, bro. That's not a bad team, bro.
It is.
I'm gonna be honest.
I
It's
like
not a
the
bad
kid from
team.
Florida State. I think he.
Bro,
I
you
think
didn't hold on. Did you watch the Georgia game?
I did.
So if Georgia is supposed to be one of these top dogs in the SEC and in college football, you seen what they did. They just went off some bullshit in the overtime, bro. They lost the toes. Cool. I'm pretty sure they would have got the ball back. If Georgia would have kicked the field goal and Tennessee would have got the ball back, they would have scored a touchdown. Hands down. Georgia couldn't stop them. Now, if Georgia can't stop you, stop your offense, I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good team.
But only thing I would say about Tennessee is Rozay. They just find the reason why I say they're a bad team because they consistently find a way to get in their own way every single year. It never
Didn't they
fails.
just go
It's
to the
like
play? Didn't they
But
just
but
go to
you
the
but you
playoffs and
got
play Ohio State?
but you got to give Kirby Smart some credit because that's a Kirby Smart defense. Everybody knows that his defense is going to bounce back. So
Man,
yeah, I can give up
I
20.
ain't talking about
I hold on, Jose.
it.
I can give up 28 points in the first in the first half, first quarter, right? But give me some time, like I always say, like with LeBron, give him game one. He's gonna figure out what you're doing. Give Curry Smart the first half. Oh, okay. Now I see what y'all doing. Now I can organize my defense the way I want to get set. And then you see they got into overtime and they did figure them out. Of course, that the freshman was going to miss the kick. I knew that was going to happen. I think the pressure was too much for him. But I wouldn't say Tennessee's a bad team.
They had an answer for Tennessee on offense.
No, I would say, but I'm saying I'm saying Georgia's defense. The first half they
yeah,
were terrible.
hey,
First half,
Georgia's
If they
defense
didn't
did
miss
first
the
of
not.
all,
if they
They
didn't
didn't
miss the
look like they
listen,
were the past
listen. If they didn't miss the
game.
first half.
if Tennessee didn't miss the field goal, we're having a different conversation right now, bro.
That's true.
About how
That is true.
Tennessee is good. Now, I'm telling you, bro. That's what I'm saying. So we can't say they're a bad team. Their receivers had 3 touchdowns. One of them had 3 touchdowns, and the other one had 2 in the first
But you
half.
know how bad Georgia's secondary is.
It's not bad, bro. That's what everybody you saying is bad just by off these stats. It's like they're not a bad secondary, bro. That's a veteran secondary that they have back there that's been on championship teams, SEC championship teams, and everything. They're probably one of the best secondaries in college football.
But they say good offense can be bad defense any day. So well, not bad defense. Good offense could be good defense any day.
That is true.
But to answer your point, Sheen and D, you hit on it. Garrett Nussmeier, he's my Heisman. He's my Heisman favorite. I think John Mateer is going to lose some of the votes because he got injured. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. But I think, and to my point earlier, I think the reason we're not seeing these high scoring games or whatever, all the talent is spread out. So, and people are figuring these teams out nowadays. So, for Ohio State, yeah, we have, and we play, cover two, and I just had somebody on Jeremiah Smith side the whole entire time. I can take him off the field. With Ryan Williams, I think he needs to gain more weight and get a little bit more stronger than he's, nobody touch him.
And work on his
Uh,
route running.
route running too, because I've only seen him do slants and go routes, so I don't know what other routes he can do, but I'll see slants and go routes for him.
I
But
know another receiver that do that too. They said that he
I,
very
I
good.
think I think just because the talent is so spread out, that's the reason why you don't see high scoring games. But to Dee's point, I think the real season starts now. You will see more of these high pressure games. These more games that mean more for the playoffs and the seedings and stuff like that. Um, but I think this is what we want from college football because for so many years we've seen Alabama dominating. The last few years we've seen Georgia dominating. I think it's getting to a point where it's like any team can win. I don't have much belief in Penn State or Oregon. I feel a lot of times their schedule is too easy and they kind of fold in the playoffs. Same as Notre Dame. I got LSU coming out, maybe Texas. Uh, yeah, that's really two teams I can really think of that
Bro,
been.
y'all keep throwing Texas in there, bro. That's crazy.
I think Arch Man's gonna figure it out. I think towards the end of the season he's gonna figure it out.
Oh,
And
They barely beat San Jose State, bro.
Bro,
I'm
come
not
on.
gonna.
Don't let that
I'm
score
not
fool
gonna
No,
you.
judge
no,
him.
Don't
what?
let
Come
that
I'm
on,
score
not
fool
gonna
what?
you.
judge him off of that though.
Don't let them score that score fool you.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the team. Y'all keep saying they gonna make it to the SEC champ, bro. They barely beat San
Nah,
Jose
I ain't
State.
saying all that. Nah, I ain't saying all that.
I mean, it's either gonna
They,
be
I don't even. I say
it's either gonna be Texas or LSU, and then Alabama or Georgia, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if they're the
I'm gonna get. I'm
same.
gonna get y'all. I'm gonna get y'all a team to come out the West. It might be Texas A&M. We'll come back to this episode.
Yeah, that's a good one. Cause they've
That's
been rolling.
that's one of my sleepers. Yeah,
They've been rolling.
but let's look at the schedule. Who have they been playing though? Because the only one they got is Notre
Everybody they
Dame.
playing everybody in the SEC. I don't go by who they playing in the first 2-3 games of the
And
season because
they
that don't matter. Everybody
nigga,
playing.
they
Everybody
quarterback,
playing trash teams though.
they quarterback is nice. They quarterback is real nice. For
Oh,
him to go
Reed,
to
yeah,
Notre
Reed,
Dame and get a game winning drive and complete a pass like that under pressure, like that shit is impressive.
yeah, I like
It
Reed.
is.
He's pretty good.
It is. Shane, you ain't got nothing, brother.
We'll see. I don't know. In terms of another team, I'll go ahead though. I don't know the whole SEC stuff like that, like y'all do. What about Oklahoma, D?
That quarterback got hurt. He
I
hurt. He out for like 6 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, I
he's
didn't.
hurt,
Yeah, I
but
thought they
he
were
he
playing
kind of he
good.
kind of reminds me of I ain't gonna say like Baker, but just kind of like you know similar.
I think this
That
weekend
was
I'm
gonna
gonna
be a,
be
that was
able
gonna
to.
be another that was gonna be another team too that was gonna be in the talks because of
Yeah,
your
I
quarterback.
seen some of them when they were playing. That's why I asked. But I'm definitely gonna lock in this weekend and see what they talking about. I give y'all my prediction. The Grim Reaper though. Tell y'all who though. Tell you what team ain't though be there in Florida. Um, I'm gonna start off with you, Rose, on this. Um, Corey alluded to this a little earlier about talent being more spread out amongst all the programs and everything. We've seen Dabo struggles, and he's been alluding to this. And obviously Nick ain't in Bama no more. Do you think, like, obviously the media plays a huge part, but are we not giving programs enough time to actually build? Like Texas, for example, they lost to us, but I still think Texas is a good team. I don't think they're on the mountain, for lack of terms, that everyone else thought they were, but I think they're another year out. I don't think this is the year for them, but a lot of teams, I feel like it's that, like, are we going to get back to where teams are actually building programs and the teams are staying mostly to their senior year? You have your, high upcoming talent leave out early, but we're getting back to where we're starting to know everyone on the team, the players, people are just actually going to bring back building programs, or do you just think because of the transfer portal, this is just going to be the new wave where we're starting high and dry each and every year? What you think?
Well, to go to your point where you said about building these programs, I think building programs has been dead probably about the past 5-6 years. And probably why Nick Saban retired, and probably why Dabo's getting ready to head out. Y'all don't know Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State is out. He ain't even coaching no more. He probably gonna retire for the same reason because these guys are used to building programs through high school, through recruiting prospects, 5 stars, 4 stars, three, whatever it may be, or whatever. Now you got to compete up against these other schools with these transfer porters that may have more money than you. Yes, you're Alabama, you're Clemson, or you're Texas or whatever. But a lot of these schools in some of these states and cities have a lot more money than some of these big name schools. Like we'll go to Texas Tech. Texas Tech, they're in a city where oil is very big. So they have every sponsor that you can name of. So they can pay for any player that they want. Same thing with Texas A&M. So that's kind of hard to compete with. But I think it's gonna get back to everything's probably gonna get back to normal probably next year or two because they just got rid of the transfer portal for the spring. They got rid of the spring transfer portal, so there's no more you can't transfer in the spring and then play the next year. You can still transfer, but you're not gonna be able to play. They still got the regular transfer portal, but I heard they probably gonna try to put some restrictions on it. Hey, you going to transfer to one school, you commit to this school and transfer portal. This is where you got to go, or you're gonna have to sit out a year, whatever it may be. But I don't know. It's still it's up in the air. Like I said, I'll give it a year or two to get back to normal. I guess it's kind of leading towards that way right now, but it's still a lot of fifth year, 6 year seniors in college right now. And once we get all those guys out, then okay, cool. Now we can get back to building through high school, going to these high school games, recruiting these players and bringing them in, building them up from freshman all the way up to a junior or a senior, and making them this top prospect for the NFL or making this household name, and go from there.
Core?
Uh, Back to my point, I said I think it's going to continue to be spread out. Just because I think sometimes like people don't. Some of these players they don't want to wait 2 or 3, 4 years to behind 5 star quarterback, running back, whoever it is. Um, I think they want to go to places where they can play now or play within like the first year, something like that. Yeah, I think with definitely with the restrictions with the transfer portal, um, you will see like less people going around. But I still think like even with the high school recruiting, they're going to want to they're I think gone are the days of everybody picking Alabama or picking Georgia or picking Tennessee or whatever. I think you'll have a few people go here, people go there, um, because some people do want to bring a championship to maybe a program that hasn't had one in a minute. They maybe a program's treating them really well, or this is the best program to get them NFL prepared, where the case may be. Um, you know, so I would say that I do think if Dabo doesn't go to the transfer portal, he will be retiring soon. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be still it's gonna be like a 50-50 mixture of the transfer portal and recruiting. Because the portal's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I don't care how many restrictions you put on it.
D, before you go, I want to throw in another mix. Um, on this, besides the building up the programs, what do you think realistically the coaching standpoint is gonna look like? Reason I asked that because I definitely wanted to shout out homeboy from Syracuse who's doing it. He's doing this thing. He's not getting props and credit for he's trying to rebuild that program, and I definitely think they got a shot coming out the ACC. Even though Florida State, Miami, but I definitely want to see them prosper. But what do you think, D, is the coaching? Are we gonna? You think it's just dead of hard nosed coaching? We're never getting back to that, and we're getting more into the. I hate to say this word, but more business partner with the NIL and everything else. So we're just managing the players rather than coaching and trying to develop, develop them into grown men and stuff like that. Or how do you think the landscape of coaching plays within the rebuilding the programs as well?
I say the coaching is kind of gone downhill because the problem is these coaches don't are still stuck in like the old school mentality, and that's a good way to be. But at the same time, you got to think how these kids are today, and you got to think how they operate. And I don't think these coaches have can relate to what the kids are bringing to the table today, because if you got these kids being in social media and then they mind is just elsewhere instead of actually focusing on the game, I think you got to create ways where you can come up with bonding the team together that we can do things like that relate to this generation. And I think we got to kind of pick up the speed as coaches to what how we can get them more involved, how they can come play for us each and every weekend. And I think that's just that's just how you got to go about it, because it's like if you don't, as a coach, if you don't have a good relationship with your players, and you got this mentality, but they're going out and doing something else. I think that's kind of hard, and I think that's going to kind of put you in a box. And another thing, I think the mentality of the game is kind of gone down mentally. I don't think these kids are just locking in every weekend and focusing on playing. Like I just said, it's video games, it's going out and partying constantly, not, you know, you no curfews being brought up, no strict rules, and you're not setting the rules down and letting these guys know, hey, it's time to cut it off. We got a game tomorrow. Let's lock in. And a lot of these coaches just walk around, let these players do whatever they want. I think that kind of sets the tone, how the team is going to be like throughout the season.
Pause
And
right there, D, because I know Rose is itching to say something.
Mhm.
And I want to ask Rose this: have we shifted from a game, and I hate to use that term, but everything so business like, and all of us at one point were 18, 21 years old, and I think until we get real restrictions on the amount and how much this, like Corey was saying, obviously, stuff was still going under the table that, we knew of. But now that it's official and they're getting this money, is this just a reset that we have to even go down to parents and your high school? And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I know what Rose is probably going to say here is just, but how does a coach even hold someone who's probably got more money than they do in their pocket responsible for all the other stuff? Like at 18, if we was getting that type of bread, are you really caring about like?
Look, man,
I
look,
think
look, look. You ain't got to give me that type of bread, bro. When I was at Maryville College with all these football players and we was on the team, we ain't had no curfew. Coach told us he told us what time we need to be in. He don't want to see us. But guess what? He don't stay on campus. So whoop de doo, we are running the streets. We up and down the block. They can't tell. They can't. You can't hold a 18 to 20-year-old accountable for staying in. They on campus by themselves. They never lived by themselves before. They away from their parents. They probably out of state. They trying to go do whatever they want to do. This is their first time they can do that. You can't really. Yeah, they in the wrong. They shouldn't be doing it. Yes, you need to treat us. You need to treat this sport or treat whatever sport you playing like a business, like a pro. You need to act like a pro or whatever. But if I me at 18 and I'm getting all this money like Rasheem just said, I didn't need the money. I was gonna go find something to do. But if I was getting at least a little about 5, 6 grand a month at 18, shit. Shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Shit.
And the wrap up on this is just, and we have a more detailed conversation I want to have maybe next week, where I think we're getting into business now, and I think I'll be kind of interested to see, D, if you want to write this down for next week. What's some unique rule changes that all of us individually think would help? Because I hate to see it at the end of the day, and what is going to end up happening is just we cut the check, and now they're going to try to cancel cutting the check, even though I don't think it's going to think we're too late in the game for it, but they're going to eventually start wanting to hold these 18, 17-year olds accountable. And that's another thing is we're getting younger and younger players. People not even, you know what I'm saying? Like it was unheard of, but we had a couple people graduate early. But now with all that stuff that you can almost everyone can graduate early. So now you getting right into the stream of revenue. Like it's so hard. But that's why I said to go back. Is it a parenting thing, or do we have to
But
give them where?
that's
Oh,
another
oh,
thing. Well, like
oh,
when you say it's a business, right? I mean,
Right.
whatever sport you play basketball, I play
Yeah.
football. We've always heard growing up, the sport is a business. No matter if we playing in rec league, we playing in middle school, playing in high school. They've always said this. You need to treat this like a business. You need to act like a pro. If this is what you want to do. This is the mindset that you need to have. So everybody's already embedded at a young age. I don't care what community you grew up in, or city or state or whatever. You're always told, football especially, that this is a business. This is your business. You need to treat it as such, and you need to act like such and such or whatever. So a lot of these players at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old already have the mindset this is a business. It's not even fun no more. We're not even playing football for fun no more. We're not playing basketball for fun no more. So now it's a business. I started thinking that I kept getting told that football was a business since I was 8 years old. I started playing football when I was 7. So just after a year after my first year of playing, I'm told this is a business and you're gonna have to treat it as such. So you need to act like this, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to be up at this time, you need to work out at this time, you need to eat this, that, and the third. So these kids are already, what's the word?
Groomed.
They- Yeah, they are. Yeah, I wouldn't say groom. Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it's groomed because like
yeah,
you're instilling that mindset in their head and at a young age. But
yeah,
to speak on the point, Rose, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was definitely agreeing with you that it is a business. But I think when we say it's a business, it's coming from like you gotta treat this as like you could possibly make it to a nice a good program or possibly to the NFL. So like we putting
right,
the work in, getting up at 5 a.m. when nobody else wants to,
right,
when you staying after practice to catch, more get more passes off or catch more balls or whatever, treat like you would that you really want this. But to your point, Sheem, that is it like a business or like do we have these coaches who are a little archaic, whatever the case may be. I'm not a little biased, but I think Coach Prime is one of the best examples of
Well,
this.
he's one of the few, but you see the back end he's facing on the media of him trying to build a program, build a culture
But
that the team's not the team success. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but my thing is like, I think he's a mixture of both. He's gonna build a culture of accountability, of saying like, and I watch his son produces their social media, but I watch like a video
Right.
every day. But he starts off like saying like, why do you want to be here? What, be accountable. Whatever. All this motivational stuff. Right? I can go on, but he's also pointing them not just as football players, but as young men. And I think that's one of the few coaches that sees, okay, like, hey, and I think he's real blunt with them. Not all y'all gonna make it to the NFL. All
But
y'all
stop
not.
right there. I'm glad you said that because I had my best basketball coach I ever had, but he was realistic about it. Where he used to make us bring in our test grades. He used to go ask about when we taking our ACT. He used to, hey, before you even get worried about the play don't take. That's my job. But as a man, he used to have a. You remember, Rose, when everyone started locking up their hair and everyone had the little nappy fade. Dog, Corey. I'm this man. If anyone didn't have their hair, if you couldn't get a haircut, but if your hair was not combed out, we all ran. But it's so many. I won't even say so many, but I hate that we don't have coaches like that in those top organizations. So then you can start identifying. Like I know D, we talk about this all the time. How much he misses Nick Saban because Nick ran a program and had a strict. Hey, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. But I think the sad part is, we don't know at 18, 19 that like this coach is getting on me, but he's building me as a man because once that game is gone, it's gone.
and
Hey,
and
go ahead,
that
Corey.
and that's my point. I think and Dion, I think got a lot of advice from Nick Saban because they do the All State commercials or the
Yeah.
Aflac commercials, so they had that relationship. And that's to your point. Like I think Dion saying like, hey, not all y'all gonna make it, but also he goes a standard to them saying like I don't know how many coaches do this, but he's like, hey, like they win a game on Saturday. Hey, we practicing tomorrow. Y'all have Sunday off. We practicing tomorrow. So I think that's building something. I think him pouring into his players, saying, "Hey, now y'all gonna make it. So let's, hey, wherever y'all do, make sure y'all do it to the best of y'all ability. I can help y'all get to these avenues, get to these places or whatever, right?" And I think he's one of the few coaches. I would say Coach Saban was another one. Um,
But I
I
think
think
we
Coach.
see, not to
Oh,
cut you off, is
oh yeah,
like
go ahead, go ahead.
think about what Dabo, where he's getting upset with the media, and I like what Dabo's doing because he's attacking the media because they've made this president on. They want you to build a program, but use the transfer portal, then do this, and then it's like it's not realistic. The man has
right.
his regulations and rules, but you guys are going, and I think it's like what Rose was saying. A lot of these older coaches is like, bro, I'm not dealing with this. It don't make any sense.
A lot of them are using the same principles Nick Saban used because they used to coach under him. So
Yeah.
a lot of the coaches right now that are struggling, like Dabo, not going in the transfer portal. portal. They refuse to go in. They're trying to build that program from top to bottom. Like Clemson's team right now, that team was built from way down here to up here. This was supposed to be the year Clemson took off because these are the same players he recruited when they was seniors in high school. Now everybody stayed with them, and everybody was expecting Clemson to be this and that. And like you said, now that they're 1-3, everybody in his media is trying to beat them up and set this precedent that, oh, maybe you need to use the transfer portal, maybe because all your competition is using. Is that why you can't keep us? Is this why you're 1-3? Yada yada yada, or your team's not winning? And I feel like that's kind of disrespectful as to me
It
as a
is
coach.
because he's trying to
Because
be real too.
you're pretty much telling me how to do my job, and you're saying I'm not doing a well enough job. I've been doing this for 25, 30 years, and I'm just having one bad season. Yes, Clemson, they're having a bad season, but they're not a bad team on paper. They just had bad luck. I would just say that. They ran up against Syracuse. Syracuse is an okay team. They're good. I still think they're probably 2-3 years away from competing, but they're a young team. That Georgia Tech game, they just played bad overall. Can't help that. Better team won. They out physical you. But don't question my coaching. Don't question why I'm not doing this. Don't do none of that. Because it has nothing to do with anything. If he was in the transfer portal, for instance, and they were still 1-3, then what are they going to say? What if he
Them,
did switch over and you go straight to the transfer portal? Then what?
I really think, and D, I'm gonna let you wrap this up here on this topic. Um, I think he's trying to teach, and Dion, where I love about Dion is life lessons. You're not always going to win, and everything's not a microwave. Like we were talking about Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Some people, it just takes a little longer. Some stuff is not going to be overnight. But in our society, and I love that Dabo is taking this swing at the media, is the media is creating microwaves. At the end of the day, whether it's the quarterbacks DJ and Arch, it may take them all the way to year 4. But hey, they got it at the end of the day, and it's more respect to them. But we get in this microwave that we want to put these people on an unknown pedestal, but sometimes the kids aren't that good. And I think Clemson, reason I had asked earlier about these teams is, yeah, these are top name teams, but let's be honest, they're just not that damn good. Like, I think Texas' biggest thing with Arch, I don't think that team is, I think they're going to at the end just because of their record, but I don't think the team is really that good right now, at least.
Right.
But, D, I'm going to let you wrap up before we jump into the NFL.
And they playing pots.
I think you have some technical issues.
Trying to find some good last lightning, but I just feel like, to go to your point when you said about about them not being that good. I'm gonna ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like it's more the like? Do you feel like, how should I put this? Is it more like you got like certain quarterbacks who are like for example like Arch, and you look at DJ Lagway, like you said, do you feel like it's more like the system they're in, or it's like they're just bad? Like if DJ wasn't at Florida and he was at just like at Colorado or LSU, would he still be the quarterback that he is?
I'm gonna be honest, just based off of that,
ass, bro.
I would say I don't think Florida.
Put the visual ASS.
I don't think Florida has the amount of talent as these people thought at the beginning of the year, and I've been saying this for the last 3 to 4 years. I don't think there's much there to be desired. Arch, you got to think. I still think he's gonna be okay because he didn't leave and he didn't run, so. I think he's going to have the mindset that he needs to, but let's be honest, he was a runner. And I think his development right now is going to be the accuracy. It's going to be all the other stuff. And he doesn't have that number one really guy that's helping him out. And that's what we're starting to see, where they just thought, oh, here you go. Ayers got us here, but people didn't give Ayers enough credit. And I think Arch is just not there yet. DJ's not there yet. And it's just interesting to see, because at the end of the day, we don't know. They can go over there in Alabama and it would have been nothing, or they could be this bad, but we don't know off the scheme and the fit. And we're not allowing, going back off the original topic with the programs to develop, we're not allowing them no time. We want everything microwave, and we want these kids to be great and win the Heisman, and regardless of what's going on. But the people we need to, like the Florida State quarterback, he's battle tested. He's done transferred. He's done had success on each step of the way he has done. And that's the thing that we be looking at. But I think we gotta readjust, even going back to the mindset. But I think the media, and I want to talk about this next week. The media to me is 85% was wrong with sports in general today. But that's just me. But let's transition to the NFL. Corey, Rose, I'm gonna let you two start off. King Henry is coughing up the ball.
Let me start, Rose.
Rose, what's going on with the king? Is he
Go
the
ahead.
king anymore? What's going on, man?
Nah, let Corey go ahead. Don't even finish your question. Don't even finish it. Go ahead, Corey.
Corey, this
Don't even
your
finish your
moment
question.
of
Go ahead,
fame.
Corey.
One, I don't. Well, one, I would say I'm glad he's doing this in the beginning of the season versus the end of the season because I feel teams who do well in the playoffs end the season on a very good note, on a hot streak, right? Um, So, and let's look at the fumbles. I don't think it's the fumbles that are happening. I think it's the time of when they're happening. And there's only been one fumble, so it's not act like he's fumbling two or three or four times a game. Now, if he was doing that, then yes, I would say that's cause for concern. He's not. I don't think he's not washed. I think that's the best running back of our generation. Um, you know, I think it's just the timing manner of the fumbles, the fourth quarter with the Bills and the fourth quarter with the Lions. I think he just has to be kind of cognizant and aware of how he's holding the ball. We talked about this off camera, but when he's running, he tends to hold the ball a little bit out here and not in here. So um, maybe that's just something with film. He could just maybe to hold the ball a little bit closer. But a lot of these fumbles just come from punches, and when you punch the ball, it's hard to it's about a 95% rate is gonna fumble, no matter who's carrying the ball. So I don't think he's washed. I think he's gonna come out with a revenge game against the Chiefs. I think he's gonna use that motivation that everybody's been saying that he's washed for the rest of the year. All he does is protect the ball in regulation, and he'll be all good to go.
Rose?
Um, I really don't have much to say, to be honest with you, about this topic. I'm
You
highly
sideways
disappointed.
right now.
Highly disappointed. That's all I'm gonna say.
D,
Fuck,
that's your
fuck
favorite
Marlon
player.
Humphrey.
Oh,
Fuck
never
Jair
mind.
Alexander.
No, Marlon
Derrick, hold
Humphrey.
on, hold on, hold on,
Mark,
hold on, hold on, hold on,
This
hold
wasn't
on.
even on the topic. Go ahead,
Derrick
go ahead.
Henry, Derrick Henry. Just hold on to the ball, my brother. You
no,
alright.
I got, I
Lamar,
got, I,
Lamar, Lamar, Lamar. Keep playing like you playing, my brother. You good. You
I got
alright.
three, I got three people on my
Now for the
list.
rest of this team, this defense specifically that I'm talking to, please don't come out here on Sunday
With that
playing
bull,
flat. Y'all niggas gonna come out here on this bullshit man to man, and exactly where they playing on Sunday. This nigga's finna put up 160 yards and a touchdown and 9 catches. I'm already knowing. Now, I ain't trying to hear nothing about Marlon Humphreys. All pro. He's 5-time Pro Bowler. I don't want to hear none of that. I just want the Ravens to win and just keep
sorry,
on winning. To answer your question, Rasheem, Derrick Henry is fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just having a bad
couple stretch
start to the
games.
season. Hey, he's all right. Ain't nobody talking about how bad Saquon playing though, but everybody want to come over here to my running back. All right, then.
Rosa, I got four people on my list because as much as I love Kyle Hamilton, he just talking about how the fans are spoiled or whatever. Like, no, it's not being spoiled. It's holding you to an expectation. Like, your defense is bad. Of course, D knows how I feel about Marlon Humphrey. Yeah, he owed me a fade when I see him on the street. because there's no way you cannot guard a parked car. You can't guard a parking cone. How do you? I don't want to get in him. Zach
Marlon owed me Marlon owed me a fucking fade since 2019.
Zach Orr is starting to become like Greg Roman, and I hated Greg Roman for 4 years because I don't know why you run RPOs in the middle of the field. But Zach Orr is starting to become Greg Roman a little bit. And then I would say the last one, not Derrick Henry. The last one, John Harbaugh. I think we need to start putting. I think he might need that seat warming up a little bit. I'll say that
The
seat warming up a
special
little bit.
teams coach acting like a head coach. This nigga's a kicker coach. Fuck out of here.
D?
I don't think there's nothing, wrong with the King. Still the best running back of this generation. Still the best in the league. He'll get it together. I think the issue, like Corey said, I'm a Bama fan, so I know about Marlon Humphrey. He was.
He's so bad he can't finish his conversation. That's how bad he is, bro. That's how he turned into Paul George, podcast Pete, podcast Marlon. That's what he
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
turned
yeah.
into.
Who on a podcast after a loss? That's why I wouldn't be want to face my fans after I lose. And then the dude had the audacity to be wrapped up with a towel on his head. Dude, your hair about as long as mine. You ain't got that much hair.
I hate that
That,
man, bro.
that's funny.
I really do. I really hate. Look, hate is a strong word. Like it's probably one of the strongest words out there besides the word bitch. If I tell
And
you I hate you, bro, I hate that nigga, bro.
I told my girlfriend last year because Mark Humphrey went on a little run towards the end of the year. He had like what 5 or 6 interceptions last year. And she's like, look,
Man, bro.
he's doing so well. He's playing so great. Why do you hate him? I'm like, don't let this man fool you. He got a shot. He got a shot at compound V. He got some superpowers for a little bit, and he started going off. But of course, when the playoffs come around, what happened? He nowhere to be found. So
Someone
I
on the
don't,
ground getting beat.
But also to Derrick Henry's point, I would say this because we've seen some of our favorite players have bad stretches. I remember when Peyton Manning went to the Broncos his first year. After that first game against the Steelers, he had a couple of bad games where he was throwing interceptions. Everybody's like, "Oh, is Peyton washed? Should he retire or whatever?" Right? He ended up
Hmm.
finishing season 13-3, had the number one seed. So I think when we see these players have a bad stretch of games, kind of like you said, Sheem, like the media is so ready to crucify them. Oh, he's washed. He's this. He's that. Is no like you people have bad games. Like not everybody's gonna have a good Sunday. Not everybody's gonna have a good stretch of games in the NBA. Like how many times have we seen LeBron have bad games, but the team still wins, or he still makes a play when he needs to make a play? I think Derrick Henry's gonna follow suit, have bad such a games. He's gonna be just fine.
Well, I guess D in the gulag right now. His internet done fumbled. But I've been waiting for this last topic. And I got a smile on my face. Regardless of what happens on Sunday.
He must be
And
talking
I'm
about his
gonna say it
Giants.
We don't upset them Chargers, baby. Jackson Dart is here. We don't go on a historic run. Let me stop playing. But I'm excited. I have not been more excited to go watch a football game to this freaking weekend in forever. Catch y'all in the playoffs on the other side.
Who
But
the
you
You
know
fuck
must
what?
going to
you
the
must have
playoff?
talking about you must have talking about this year. You must have talking next year.
We don't be there. We don't be back. We don't be back, man.
I
Jackson
think
Dart.
Yeah,
I think Dart's gonna have a good game. I think since there's not a lot of film on him, he's gonna surprise a lot of people. I think he's gonna have that I think he's gonna have that one game wonder, where everybody, oh, he does well, he threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for 1. Oh my gosh, like this is, and then the next game he's gonna come back down to earth. So
We ain't doing that.
let's give him a 3-game
I tell you
trial.
one thing. Listen, I'm on. This gonna be my prediction. Even though I think we don't lose because the Chargers is tough. If we go in there and beat the Chargers, we going on a run. We're going on a run. I'm just gonna put that out there now. We beat the Chargers, we're going on a run. But we lose, then the losing streak still continue. I'm just gonna say it like that. But I'm excited, man.
Do you think they should play Jameis Winston if Justin Dart's good?
No, you don't pull the trigger. You gotta let him ride, regardless of how bad. You gotta let the young fella ride. But I tell you one thing, Corey. You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
We're going on this nice little win streak. I'm gonna come on here with my number 6 jersey, behind my Jackson Dart jersey, with the chain out, and then I'm gonna have a New York Giants hat. And you know what you know it's gonna say on that hat?
Some bullshit.
It's gonna say Lions is skill. Cappin is not.
About me ain't got something on the kid. That don't change the fact that there's just no flavor in your wrist. That was given from the start, so it just is what it is. Now drop the pin, well.